553 BC, 3342 AM. King Nebuchadnezzar's sanity is restored, and according to the Daniel record, he had an epiphany, acknowledging the power and majesty of the true God. His son Nabonidus seems to have been a silent king. During his final months alive, nothing was denied him by the court, and he retained the same kingly power he had before he had become insane. 1 Daniel. 552 BC. This is the approximate date for the birth of Pythagoras, the most famous ancient mathematician of all time. This Greek would travel to Judea, what was left of it, and learn among the priests of Egypt. He would even submit to circumcision to be admitted to the secrets of the Hebrews. He was the first to be called a philosopher. He was an astronomer and mystic who travelled widely to Phoenicia, Syria, Chaldea, Media, Persia, and even studied among the Brahmins of Hindustan. He would later in life settle in Italy and start a school in Crotona, most famous for Pythagorean theory. He believed Earth was a sphere. In this year, Heraclitus of Ephesus was 40 years old, an Ionian scholar, more scientist than philosopher. More on him in this study. 551 BC, 3344 AM. The famous Chinese philosopher Confucius is born. After 120 years of building, involving the combined efforts of 60 kings and labour from all the peoples of Asia Minor, the plan of the Greek architect Ctesiphon is completed at Ephesus, the famed Temple of Artemis, later to be renamed the Temple of Diana of the Ephesians. This magnificent temple would become one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. This year was 4688 of the Anunnaki chronology, or 1344 plus 1344 years, and the Temple of Artemis was finished 112 years, or 1344 months, before the next great architectural work of the ancient Greeks was completed by the Western Greeks, the Parthenon in Athens in 439 BC. The Ephesian temple is the background of a very famous story concerning the Apostle Paul, 600 years after it was completed. This was the year 2552, 2000 plus 552 of the Vedic calendar. Amazingly, this is the 224th year since the first year of the Olympiad calendar, the first year being completed in 775 BC. These 224 years are 2688 months, 1344 plus 1344. The Eastern Greeks were more sophisticated than their Western counterparts, the Ionic states having more intercourse with the East than the Peloponnese and Northern Greek states. By this time, the entire Greek world is peopled by the descendants of Japhetic, Indo-European, and Israelite people. 1. Pliny, Natural History, Mining and Minerals. 547 BC, 3348 AM. The ancient temple of Delphi, seat of the oracle, was burnt down. The Greeks implored King Amasis of Egypt for aid, and he sent a fortune for the rebuilding of the oracle. This was exactly 900 years after the Israelites fled Egypt in 1447 BC, or 10,800 months. It was 864 years after the Israelites conquered northern Canaan, which became the territory of the northern kingdom after 931 BC civil war, which was exactly 414 years, cursed time, before the Delphic oracle burnt down. This was 504 years, 252 plus 252, after Israel elected a king, Saul, in 1051 BC, and 216 years, 108 plus 108, after the temple in Jerusalem was damaged in a quake in 763 BC, and 50 years, Hebrew Jubilee, after the Babylonians sacked the temple in Jerusalem in 597 BC. These calendrical connections reveal that the Delphic oracle and temple were ancient Israelite institutions. As we have seen, the early Danaan and Ionians were indeed Israelites. As we have discovered, c. 3031 BC, the sum of 864 is the foundation of geometrical time, linking both time and space. As this was 864 years after the Israelites in 1411 BC began receiving their inheritance in Canaan, the destruction of the Delphic temple was 2592 years, 864 times 3, to the entire destruction of the Western world in 2046 AD, and full-scale Anunnaki invasion, when kingship will lower from heaven, as depicted over and over in the Sumerian records. This was also 1008 years after Israelites aided in the defense of Egypt in 1555 BC. This was the 1260th year after the confirmation of the Abrahamic covenant in 1807 BC. 1. Stolen legacy. 546 BC, 3349 AM. Thales of Miletus, who accurately predicted the darkening of the sun, Phoenix transit, and gained widespread fame throughout Greekdom, died while attending the Olympics, aged 94. Anaximander of Miletus completed his work entitled Upon Nature. He believed that there existed a permanent and unchangeable substance beneath all matter, and that all forms and phenomena are merely transformation of this same substance. 1. The Naked Olympics. 2. God's Laughter. 543 BC, 3352 AM. The famous Buddha died, a Far East prophet and religious reformer. This is the first year of the Buddhist calendar, which began exactly 864 years, foundation of time number, after Israel became a nation in 1407 BC. It is an amazing parallel that the life and traditions about Buddha were the same as Attis of Phrygia, which concerned ancient Israelite faith. Buddha was believed to be a saviour, to have healed the sick, taught in parables, died a violent death when the sun darkened, and died for the sins of humanity. This Buddhist calendar began a 576 year, 144 times 4 countdown to 34 AD, the time of the very beginning of the Christian movement, the year or year after the crucifixion of Christ. In this year, the famous mother of King Nabonidus, the last king of Babylon, died at age 105 or 1260 months. She was born in the 20th regnal year of King Ashurbanipal of Assyria and was a priestess of Babylon. She witnessed the rise of Nabopolassar and Nebuchadnezzar II, she being 63 years old when Judah was destroyed and deported, lived on through the reigns of evil Merodach, Nergalissar, his wicked son, and her own son Nabonidus. Her life was recorded on a well-preserved votive stele. 1. Ages in Chaos, Volume 2.